people tuning in. It's good to see some of your faces, and we're honored to have you with us. Happy early Hanukkah, everyone. I know we got just a few more hours. I just got an email that Israel and Morocco are establishing diplomatic relations. So that was good news. So give us even more to celebrate tonight when Hanukkah comes. So that was great news.
That's good news.
That is good news.
Great news is they're starting the vaccine.
Yes. Yeah. I haven't seen the news today. Did the FDA give it an approval?
Not yet.
Not yet. All right. But hopefully sometime today or tomorrow, we can start all getting vaccinated soon. Well, I know our time is limited, so let me get started. As you guys know, this year, our theme is overcoming challenges. And as I spoke about on Cold Nidre, one of my heroes and one of the people that has overcome tremendous challenges to bring so much good into this world is my friend, Mike Segal. And Mike has a powerful narrative of what he's done with his life since he was shot back when he was in college. And Jennifer and I scheduled him right when Hanukkah is about to begin, Erev Hanukkah, if you will, because this holiday is all about hope. And when I hear the word hope, one of the people I think about is Mike. So without further ado, Mike, why don't you start and maybe begin? Not everyone with us knows your story and what happened.
Well, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. When I was 19 years old, 5 years ago, no, I'm just kidding. 19 years old, I was a student at the University of Texas on my way to becoming a doctor, an orthopedic surgeon. My girlfriend Sharon said, Mike, it's late. I need to go back to my dormitory. I said, fine. We headed back to our dormitory, but I noticed the gas station was empty. So I pulled into the nearby convenience store, said, Sharon, wait here, I'll be right back as soon as I pay for the gas. Unfortunately for me, the store was dismissed for robbery. One of the three thieves forced me to the back of the store, to the cooler. He pushed me down, shot me in the back of the head. He thought I was dead. Meanwhile, Sharon was beginning to worry. What's taking back so long? She especially began to worry when she saw people in the store and I was not with them. She quickly got out of the car, entered the empty store. She started screaming, Mike, Mike, where are you? Just then, the clerk from behind and screamed, let it get down. I've just been robbed and shot at. She quickly got down, but screamed, at his boyfriend. He said nothing, instead he ran to the cooler. He saw me choke up and vomit. He cleaned my mouth of vomit, called the paramedics and the police. Nobody thought I would survive, but I did. Then I was rushed to the hospital. The neurosurgeon, I thought I would be dead in the morning. So he went home. In the morning, when he returned, shocked I was still alive, told my family, needs to operate, but he said there's a 60% chance of my dying on the table. If I beat the odds, 100% chance of I'm eating a vegetable. Obviously, I beat the odds. I was not supposed to be live, but I did live. For a while in Austin, I was miserable. I was in a coma. Then a stripper, but then 3 weeks later, the neurosurgeon told my family and Sharon's family, I was stable enough to be flown home by jet ambulance to a rural hospital in Houston. In Houston, a wonderful thing happened to me. A woman changed her life forever. She was the hospital neuropsychologist who tested me. And said, Mike, I know you have goals of returning to college, but let's face it, I just tested you. You're not going back to college at UT. You're not going back to any college. Why don't we focus on more realistic goals? I thought to myself, I could barely speak. I thought to myself, lady, who are you to tell me what I can and cannot do? You don't even know me. I'm at my goal right then and there to one day somehow return to college at UT. It was not easy. Aside from learning to walk in, that you learn to talk again, that you learn to do small things like tie shoe with one hand. But eventually, after a year and a half, I returned to college at UT in Austin. Life was not easy for me in Austin. Aside from going to classes, I had to go to therapy. But I believe life's not supposed to be easy. Not just for me, not just for y'all, not just for anybody. I believe the definition of a human is trying to overcome obstacles. Like I said, I had to go to classes at UT, and I had to go to therapy. But after 4 years in Austin, I graduated out of the Dutton class. Then I went to graduate school at U of H for social work. Before I was shot, I wanted to be an orthopedic surgeon, helping people with their broken bones. Now, as a social worker at the hospital, Beth, I try to help people with their broken spirits. One of the key ingredients in my recipe is a support system. Good doctors, good staff, but also good community, good loved ones. My wife, Sharon, who was not my wife at the time, but who always stood by me. And together we have a baby, Sean, but she's not a baby anymore. She just got married 2 years ago to her husband, Idan. They're great people. I'm not special. My family is. Okay. What else?
So, Michael, I mentioned it a few minutes ago. How did you, if there's one thing that has allowed you to have so much hope and optimism, what would that be?
For me, it's different for everybody. For a lot of people, it's God, of course. But also, for me, it's a belief in yourself, a belief in a support system, and support system is key. My doctors, my staff, but like I said, my family, that's key.
Your wife, your parents, your siblings.
That's correct. My parents have always been with me. My loved ones have always been with me. Okay, that's key. But like I said, we're all human beings. Sometimes I get down. That's the definition of human. The key to overcoming obstacles is to push on.
Well, one of my favorite parts of our services pre-pandemic on Friday nights is when you and your father pass out chocolates to everyone when we leave services. And it's been hard not having you there. Oh, you got the chocolates. You got probably have plenty saved up. You got 9 months worth of saved up chocolate. So I know we'll get a lot once many more people return to the building when this pandemic is over. But Michael, this has been a difficult time. Not as hard as this has been for us. It's nothing what you experienced, but it's been hard for all of us. And I know hard for you, I'm sure too. What advice would you give us now as we are all looking for hope?
Continue to have support from the family, support from the community, support from your friends. When I was shot, that was a really bad time in my life. But everyone has those times. The virus is also hard. But if you take it one step at a time, one day at a time, we'll get there, hopefully. My dad taught me, according to what you were saying, he said, mile by mile is a trial, yard by yard is hard, but inch by inch is a cinch. That's key. During this time of the virus, I've been down a lot. A lot of people have been down. But Sharon is always there to push me to get up. It's hard, but I know that it's not going to be the end. So if you take it one step at a time, we'll get there.
Yeah, you're right. And I've seen your dad leave those notes with that saying in hospital rooms.
Yeah.
That brings a lot of comfort to people. I know you wanted to be an orthopedic surgeon, and after what happened, you decided to be a social worker. And I know you've had great success. And I know many families you've helped.
Yes.
What has been most rewarding about that? Tell us a little bit about your career.
Well, my career right now, for the past 9 months, has been here in the apartment. I don't like that. I want to be around people. I want to be around patients, families. But for this time, it's not possible. But a couple of things. Like I said, when I was before I was hurt, I wanted to be an orthopedic surgeon, helping people with a broken bone. Now I try to help people with a broken spirit at the hospital. One of the families I helped, the patient was in a car wreck. Nobody thought he would survive, but he did. And he and his wife, a year later, gave me a present. You see it? They were from Louisiana. They asked me, what do you think that is? I'm thinking, I was very positive. So I thought it was the top of a rose. They laughed and said, no, we're from Louisiana. It's the eye of a hurricane. And with it, they gave me a note that said, thank you for helping us through the storm. there are times in everybody's life. There's issues. There's down times. But if you can find a rose, you're better off. I can't hear you.
Rabbi, you're muted.
There we go.
There you go.
I like that. And I'm sure that many of the families you've helped, there's probably, you can relate and you can understand what you're going through.
Well, another story. Do you have time?
Yeah. And then I'll open it up to Q&A.
Okay. Another story. I was shot in the head during a convenience store robbery. Okay? A family was rushed to the hospital because their son, also 19, was in a convenience store robbery, shot in the head. The doctors were giving them no hope. The nurses said, wait until the morning. Speak to Mike, who was also in a convenience store robbery, also shot in the head. I walked to the hospital in the middle of the morning. The family migrated to me. They wanted hope. I just told them my hopes and prayers are always with you because everybody is different. But with time, they got better. And every Monday night, I do a support group to the families, for the families. And every Monday night, as a door prize, I give away a door prize that says, keep up alive. And the father of the boy won it. He was so happy. He grabbed it and put it on. Unfortunately, it got washed off in the shower. So he asked me for another one. I gave him another one. Another shower, it washed off. Finally, he asked me for 5. Finally, he said, enough of the shower. He tattooed it in his wrist.
Wow.
He said he wants to always remember, keep up alive.
Wow. That's powerful.
Yeah.
As a rabbi, I can't condone tattoos, but I think that's a very powerful story.
There are a million stories like that.
Well, I know, and you've been published, I know, in several books.
Yeah.
Your stories.
Yeah. Writing inspirational stories.
Yeah. And you've spoken all over the country.
Yeah.
Not just here in Houston. And I know that will continue once this pandemic's over. And Michael, did you say a minute ago, you're still doing the support groups, or they're just online now?
Well, starting in April, I was miserable doing what I was supposed to be doing, calling patients in the hospital to check on them. And for me, that's not what I do best. For me, I like giving hope. And one day, I saw on the news a story about a man whose daughter was in a trauma, bent up, couldn't get to bent up. He said, I know this virus is very important, but support for traumas are so important also. So I started a support system through the phone. I call people on the phone. But eventually I'm going to have WebEx is what we use in April.
Gotcha. All right, so let me open up the questions. I think I already see a couple comments in our chat room.
Sorry, January. Sorry.
Oh, January. Yeah, so April, hopefully this is over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From your mouth to God's ears.
Yes. Lily wrote, Mike, have you kept in touch with your social work colleagues since the pandemic? And I guess you may have already answered that, but.
A few of them.
Yeah.
Not everybody, but a few.
Libby wrote, I went to graduate school with Michael and worked with him at 7 Acres. He is a wonderful person who has a special way of working with people. Agreed.
Thank you.
Agreed. And Mindy wrote, Michael, thank you for the amazing support you provided my family and I when my mother was ill in the hospital. Thanks for the inspiration you provide us every day. You are an amazing friend and social worker, inch by inch.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said also. Any other questions or comments, whether it's in the chat room or you can raise your hand. Any other questions? Ann wrote, I remember how hard you worked to recover your speech.
Yeah. When I was shot, the bullet went through Broca's area, which is the speech area in my brain. So I should not be able to speak. In a book that I was in, the ghostwriter said, wow, your speech is great. I said, well, I was supposed to not be able to speak. Now I speak, and my parents are praying and praying I shut up.
Well, one of the stories I remember too is in your recovery. Tell the story. There was someone on the Houston Oilers training staff.
Yes.
What was the story? There was a hill.
Yes. He was the trainer and executive for the Oilers. And my dad got me hooked up with him. And he said, Mike, he had a hill that people would climb up and down. Athletes. He said, Mike, one day you too will climb that hill. I didn't say anything, but I thought, are you crazy? But instead, we worked out in the back of his kolache shop. Like 2-3 months later, he said, Mike, let's go to the hill. I was so scared. I was so petrified. But eventually, I followed him to the hill. He said to two of his athletes, John, Mark, come here. Help Mike down the hill. Basically, they grabbed me down the hill. One of them screamed, Tom, what now? Tom screamed, you idiot, help him down, up the hill. So they did that for a week. At the end of the week, Tom said, all right, John, you're on your own. Mark, help him up and down the hill. After that week, Tom said, Mark, on the way down, you can help him. On the other way, on the way up, he's on his own. And now, after 4 weeks, I was on my own. everybody in life has their own obstacle. Some small, some big, but obstacles nonetheless. See, that showed me getting up the hill was so important, but not as important as overcoming obstacles.
Yeah. You know, Michael, I want to ask you a question. You know, Hanukkah is a few hours away. I see the Hanukkah behind you. I know you and Sharon are very involved in the Jewish community. I mentioned you come to services often. I know Judaism means a lot to you. How do you still find faith and belief in God and our Jewish tradition after what you experienced?
Well, it's not just, like I keep saying, everybody has obstacles. Being shot was an obstacle. This virus is an obstacle. But I try to have a positive attitude. There's a story. Do you have another story?
We've got a couple more minutes, please.
Okay. Young mother, single mother, trying to raise two brats by herself. She doesn't know what to do. They're driving her crazy. All of a sudden, she sees an ad for troubled children at a synagogue. More miraculously, the synagogue is down the block. So she grabs Johnny, runs down the block, knocks on the door, says to the rabbi, "Rabbi, you have to help me explain the situation." The rabbi says, "Man, go home. I'd like to speak to Johnny by myself." Okay, Johnny and the rabbi go sit in his office. The rabbi says, "Johnny, do you know where God is?" The rabbi leans up, raises his voice a little. "Johnny, do you know where God is?" The rabbi points at Johnny's nose, screams, "Johnny, do you know where God is?" With that, Johnny bolts all the way home, runs upstairs to his brother Bobby's room, screams, "Bobby, we're in big trouble. God is missing. They think we have him." God is with me all the time. God is with all of y'all all the time. God is with everybody all the time. Keep the faith.
Well said. And perfect reminder as we get ready for Hanukkah that the Maccabees had that faith. Jews over the centuries have had that faith, and we still keep that faith tonight in a very dark time. So, Michael, thank you. Thank you for all you do for the community and for being a real inspiration for all of us and thousands of people across the city and across the world.
Thank you. God bless. Take care.
Hanukkah Sameach, everyone. Have a safe Hanukkah. And I hope to see all of y'all soon.
So do I.
We will. We will.
Thanks.
Take care, everybody.